when it comes to intel, I get a lot of things that I cannot share. I get some things that are very much private in a sense, and sometimes I try to forget those so that I don't make a mistake and bring those out accidentally. But I am hearing some really cool things that have to do with the release of the RV, the blessing as we call it. And let's just start kind of where we always do, and that is everything that we learn about seems to go back somehow to Iraq. It seems that nothing's going to happen until Iraq is ready to go with everything that they have. We understand that we had a delegation in Iraq, and some of you guys may have actually seen this on the news last night, and we had known about that. And there was a delegation that was there to witness sort of the announcements of Iraq's new beginning or return to sovereignty and return to the release that they had of, we understand, of Chapter 7 with the UN, and basically the return of sovereignty and a revalued rate for their currency. Now, we've told you in the past where their currency is in country as a rate. Even last week we did that. And we also know that, we believe, even though we haven't, the announcements that were made yesterday, or let me see if I have this right. Was it yesterday or today? Let's say it today. The announcements that were supposed to be made today in the mosques, we understand, were made. But social media out of Iraq, and that's Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and other social media has been quashed. It's been made dark, and it's still dark. And that was supposed to come off to where we'd have communication like that even late last night, before midnight. And that didn't happen. Well, if that didn't happen, that tells us they still have some things they want to keep under wraps. They still don't want whatever did occur to be released to us yet. I believe it did occur, and I believe announcements were made in the mosque this morning that we just are not going to know about yet, and maybe we'll never hear directly what they were, and that's okay. The fact that we know that we had people there witnessing that as part of a delegation, and the fact that we know who was there was our Abadi and Barzani and two from our country there to witness it, and probably others as well. That tells us all we need to know in terms of where we are with Iraq having done what they need to do. We know that they've had a rate that's varied from about $3.71 all the way to over $6 on their smart cards, and they've been paying out. We know that their banks have all come up. We know that they are the first, in a sense, digital banking country with gold-backed rates on the dinar. We know that it's now the IQN as opposed to IQD. IQN meaning new Iraqi dinar, and new in the sense of gold-backed. That is there. They have it. In a sense, they have it first. We have a currency known as the USN, the US dollar, but it's the USN meaning new as opposed to USD, which is just the US dollar, which was a fiat dollar. Okay? Not backed by any assets, but backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. And as strong as our dollar has been and is now, it's been that way since 1913. Because we came off the gold standard, we came off silver, and now we are back on gold as a gold standard. The entire world is gold backed. The entire world is asset-backed. Maybe not 100% gold, but asset-backed and partially gold-backed. And that's giving a lot of currencies around the world a lot of value and stability. It's going to be a much, much more level playing field after the GCR is fully implemented. Okay? Because countries like Vietnam and Indonesia and others are going to have their currencies established much higher than they have been. I mean, incredibly much higher. We know that in the mosques a few days ago, in fact, it was on Thursday's call, I believe, that I brought it up, that Iraq had made an announcement to say that their currency was now 6 times the value of the U.S. dollar. And that's right in line with the rate that we had at that time, which was like 6.25. And the rate's gone up from there since then. And these are in-country rates. Our rates on our screens should be higher than that. Just so you know, we know that the liberation of Mosul also was announced. We know that that is something that was celebrated by having the 2 brand new flags flying on either side of the Tigris River. There's a lot there. There's a lot that's happening there. A lot of it's symbolic, but it does point to a new Iraq. And we have made arrangements with Iraq to further work with them militarily, to strengthen that aspect of their defense and have that available. And we're continuing to negotiate things with our current administration to make them a strength and a force in the region. It'll also give us an opportunity to have good standing in the Middle East and have support for our troops as we need to be based in the Middle East. And that's going to be interesting, and that's going to be good for us to have access to help in that region. The other thing is, rates is something that we have seen fairly recently. And then on Sunday at 12:05 p.m., that's 5 minutes after noon East Coast time, the rates came off the screens. They all disappeared. That did not surprise us because we thought, okay, that even though it might seem surprising, we know that sometimes the rates come off because they need to be re-entered, they need to be resynchronized with the banks for the latest, most up-to-date rates to be utilized around the world. At 3:05 p.m. Sunday, cursors on the screen started blinking. We had no rates up, but we had currencies and we had a cursor blinking. And we thought that might change when the Forex came up at 5 or 6 o'clock rather. And at 5:01, there was no difference. We had the cursors still blinking and rates were not populated. Now, our understanding is that the rates should repopulate, but my understanding as of now is that the new rates have not yet come back up on the screens. So we're waiting for that to happen as well. And obviously they'll be, when they do come up, they should be our latest rates with all the currencies that are in the first basket, showing what we think they should be showing. And when that happens, I'm sure it'll happen at the perfect time. I don't know when that's going to be, though. I haven't heard that. So that's something that's out there that we should kind of keep an eye on. The other thing is there's a lot of activity happening out west. And continuing to have meetings even as we speak about last-minute timing, possibly about the release that we're looking for. And these are meetings with high-level people in our military as well as our administration, putting everything together, sort of, I don't know, maybe this is one of the last meetings, if not the last meeting before the actual release. We'll see. But I think that's very good, and we should be in good shape with that being underway. Also, we know President Trump is involved in negotiations, and we know that a lot of things are going on and will continue to go on through the rest of the week vis-a-vis China. And we know that there are plans, as you guys know from our mainstream news, for the president of China to meet with our president this week. And they are, I'm sure, working through some situations that are global in nature and yet are very important for China as well as for the United States. I think some really good things should come out of their meetings this week. We've got, there's just quite a bit going on. I think I heard a report this afternoon, and I heard a little bit about the president announcing infrastructure. And I thought it was really curious because we've talked on the big call about working directly with our administration on infrastructure as part of Rebuild America. And you guys know the president's theme is making America great again, making America safe again. And our slogan is Rebuild America, essentially restoring America, but rebuilding America. And we plan to do that. And I said, Rebuild America, adopt a city, adopt a town, adopt a community, meaning you can scale that as high or as small as you wish, based on your involvement, my involvement, everybody's involvement, working together toward a common good as a humanitarian project. What was interesting today was when the president talked about infrastructure, he didn't limit it to just road projects or highway bills or stuff like that we've heard of in the past. He's talking about real infrastructure. And, from where I come, when I mention real infrastructure, I'm talking about, I'm talking a little bit about roads and bridges, but not as much about roads as it is about building communities back, old neighborhoods, restoring neighborhoods to safe places of interaction between neighbors that are like we used to have in the 50s and 60s in this country. Safe neighborhoods. Where kids, do you remember when you were a kid, if you were in my age group, where you just go out, your door was unlocked, you just went out and you played in the neighborhood and you just had fun and you just got back before it was too late. And your mom would yell for you to come to dinner or whatever. Those were the days when you were safe. I want us to see if we can return to that. I know we're not in that same era, and I know that, things have changed, but those were some positive things that we can bring back. I would love for us to have neighborhoods that were like that again. But additional infrastructure for us should be not only rebuilding homes, rebuilding neighborhoods, helping to improve schools and add, let's say we need to add an auditorium or a fine arts center on a school or a new, what do they call it, like a gymnasium, but they do it with sometimes they'll take a room like a cafeteria and they'll combine that and make that like a gymnasium, combination. Whatever these schools need, we should be able to help with that too. And then the other thing is, guys, infrastructure can go way beyond physical rebuilding of things? What about improving networks for communication? What about improving the internet accessibility for everybody across the country? That's major infrastructure there. There's quite a bit that we can do, that we can get involved in. We're planning to bring out technologies that will come out. A lot of it will involve free energy or low-cost energy. We're going to be at the forefront of that on the big call. We also want to talk about healing and technologies to promote healing. And there's quite a bit that's been kept under wraps. We want that to come out. We want there to be disclosure about that and bring that and help to bring that out in the near future, very near future. What I'm looking for is at least 5,000 partners from the Big Call audience that say, you know what, I like that idea. Yes, I'm going to help myself. Yes, I'm going to help my family. Yes, I'm going to kind of go on vacation and buy a couple of new cars and maybe a home or two. I get all that, guys. I'm with you on that. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But then beyond that, it's not about toys. It's not about things. It's about what can we do to help upon and take. We can take those to other parts of the world, and I think we'll be welcome. I think